This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one Dora window and get another Dora window at 40% off plus $200 off your project. That's at no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. Call 717-727-7558 or visit rbacentralpa.com/deals to get on this deal before it ends October 31st. After being welcomed into Ray Meyer's home, the three men attacked and subdued him, with the Times noting that, quote, Curry was accused of striking Ray Meyer with a piece of wood, and the others were charged with binding the man in a chair, unquote, in order to take a lock of his hair, a key to undoing the spell, they believed. However, the blow to Ray Meyer's head was severe enough to kill him. Then, whether it was to hide their crime and attempt to destroy what they believed might be magical talismans or some combination of the two, the men set fire to Ray Meyer's cabin. The flames went out soon after, however, and they failed to destroy the evidence that would be found days later. Read the rest of this story and others like it on Paranormal Pennsylvania, a PennLive series that covers Pennsylvania's weirder side. Click on the podcast link to check them all out and to sign up for our newsletter, if you dare. The mass shooting that took place in Indiana County over the weekend was the U.S.'s 540th of the year. In Bethlehem, sewer rates could go up. A pagan shop got a visit from cops over a very obscure state law. Also, a mummy at long last gets put to rest. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in a PA. A mass shooting occurred in Indiana County in the early hours of Sunday morning that killed one person and left at least 8 others wounded, reports the Tribune Review. Gunfire broke out during a party at the Chevy Chase Community Center in White Township, with no charges coming out of it yet as of the recording of this episode. Now, Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit Gun Violence Archive is claiming the shooting to be the U.S.'s 540th of the year. Keep in mind, what people define as a mass shooting differs depending on who you ask. For Gun Violence Archive, that definition is a shooting in which at least 4 people are shot and are left injured or killed, excluding the shooter. The group found that Pennsylvania alone had 32 such shootings so far for this year, the majority of which were in Philadelphia, which resulted in 30 deaths and over 120 injuries. Amid treatment plant upgrades, sewer rates in Bethlehem may rise, reports Lehigh Valley Live. Director of Water and Sewer Resources Edward Boscola made this proposal to the City Council a couple of weeks ago, asking them to approve an 8% hike in order to keep up with higher operating and capital expenses. This hike would go into effect January 1st, 2024, and would also apply to Hanover Township customers. And based on the typical use of area residents, prices would go from around $297 a year to a little over $320. The proposal is currently under review by the Council's Finance Committee before it goes up for a vote. It's the quote-unquote Hanover Inquisition, states the York Dispatch. Pagan store The Serpent's Key Shop and Sanctuary got a visit from Hanover Borough Police Chief Chad E. Martin and another person believed to be an officer last week. And, according to shop owner Beck Lawrence, it was because of some obscure state law Pennsylvania has that states, quote, a person is guilty of a misdemeanor in the 3rd degree if he pretends, for gain, to tell fortunes. The statute even notes that advertising for such services is admissible evidence in this regard as well, which the Serpent's Key does. Martin, in response to a TikTok video Lawrence made, stated via the department's Facebook page that there was no investigation into the store and never any threats of arrest. The visit was simply made to follow up on a complaint that was submitted. Reads Martin's statement, quote, the only departmental time utilized was mine in an effort to educate someone and to prevent a future complaint or issue. For 128 years, Stoneman Willie has called the Theo C. Allman Funeral Home in Reading, Berks County, his home, begins PennLive. In life, Willie had been a petty criminal. But after dying in a county jail, he fell into the hands of then funeral home owner T.C. Allman, who wanted to preserve his body long enough so someone could identify him. No one ever did, but Willie ended up becoming mummified, with most of his hair, teeth, and skin still preserved after all this time. And as of this weekend, Willie was at long last put to rest in the Forest Hills Memorial Park Cemetery under his real name, James Murphy. That's all for today. For even more Pennsylvania news and beyond, check out PennLive.com. And please don't forget to rate this podcast and to share it with someone you think would like it too. Thanks ahead of time, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll talk to you tomorrow for another episode of Today in a PA. This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one Dora window and get another Dora window at 40% off plus $200 off your project. That's at no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. Call 717-727-7558 or visit rbacentralpa.com/deals to get on this deal before it ends October 31st.